But in your Christian walk, is there any particular things about the faith or experiences that you've had that have caused your heart to burn within you?
I think of back on my childhood. I don't know whether we can call it coincidental or what, but as I review my life and everything, it was important. It was a seed of some particular importance or value, however you want to say it. My Aunt Sylvia. As a little boy, I would occasionally go up to Norfolk, Virginia, where she lived, and maybe spend a week with her. And on Saturday evenings, she had in her bedroom a wall shelf, and on it an icon, crucifix, oil lamp, this sort of thing. And she would say her prayers. She was very Greek, and so everything was in Greek. And then on Sunday morning, she would take me by the hand. We'd go and get on a trolley and go down to her. It was a small Orthodox church, and she would be there with her buddies, and everyone would speak in Greek. The liturgy was just totally foreign to me, and I didn't understand a thing about it. But why does that remain imprinted on my mind and on my heart? Here I was a child, and I look back and I think, well, somehow what was conveyed to me was that whatever it was that she was doing, taking part in or whatever, was just by itself important. And that never left me, and it's a vivid memory. It's kind of like at my baptism, I remember in the Episcopal Church, it was a Holy Saturday and in the late afternoon, spring day, and I remember the priest making the sign of the cross on my forehead with water, and feeling that water evaporate as if it were etching itself, not just in my skin, but kind of in my psyche. I look at events like that, and it makes me appreciate, too, the life of children, and not to minimize, what is going on in their lives or what things may speak to them, which years later will bear fruit of some kind. But I think if I had to, point to someone introducing me to God, I can thank my Aunt Sylvia. I remember from that age 11, somehow I was taught how to serve at the altar. And how, I don't know, it was just like something that, it was magnetic. It just drew me to it, and I can't explain. And I never had a period in my life where I wasn't in church. It was like that was a constant, and like something you just can't shake, so you go back to it and stay related to it. And I don't know, it was that sacramental life, that presence of Christ sometimes. But in words that, in things that you simply can't put into words. I don't know, this is just all mysterious business, Father. how do you explain God and how He works in your life? It's just beyond comprehension. And I spent my life, professional life, so to speak, as an Episcopal priest, and went through periods where I felt disillusioned with the institution. I had to deal honestly with my own sinfulness and brokenness. Did go through a divorce. These were things that were incredibly painful, and I wondered whether I could ever crawl out from under the rubble. But then, coincidentally, if you will, somehow help appeared, and I was able to get through that incredibly painful time. And subsequently met my wife Susan, and we were on this journey together. And again, it was all a very mysterious thing. We both grew up in the Episcopal Church, loved it, and please don't think I'm just disparaging it, because it gave me so much. I grew up just loving and appreciating good liturgy, theology, music, the language. I heard beautiful language growing up. That does something to you. And of course, this gets replicated in the Orthodox Church, in the sheer beauty of the worship here. In my journey, Christian journey, I came to a point where, from the institutional level, things were just breaking my heart. And I felt like I was kind of dying within. I've always been very loyal to the tradition I grew up in. It was sort of like growing up with a really good stepmother. But somewhere I was trying to find my real mother. And I think for me, coming to Orthodoxy, which was a steady and kind of deliberate journey, it wasn't hurried. It was like, and I'm so grateful that Susan and I did this journey together. There was no tension with that. It was like we were both seeking this pearl of great price. And, wherever we lived, invariably we would strike up an acquaintance with the local Orthodox priest or whatever, and found ourselves, when we had a vacation or something like that, to attend the Divine Liturgy and everything. So it was a very slow process, but I think we saw the destination pretty clearly. It was a matter of when. And so finally it came to the point where I felt the Lord saying, "You can go now." And we did. And we are just so grateful for what we've been given. We can't put it into words. It's just, and again, it's not to disparage other expressions of Christian faith or whatever, but there's such a depth to everything. And not just that, the liturgy, the theology, everything, there's it's alive and real. And it deals so compassionately with one's soul. And, to come into church knowing I'm a sinner, and that's okay. That's okay. that we're all here somehow to take our lives, battered as we may be, or whatever the situation personally. This is a place to find healing and to find the living Christ. So I don't know how you convey that to other people. I'm just doing the best I can. I don't know, stumbling way perhaps. But we're just so grateful to be here.
Well, we're grateful to have you too.
Well, Father, can't tell you what you've meant to me and to Susan personally.
You were here before me, so you're grateful to have me.
I'm very grateful to have you. Yes, indeed. Yeah.
One more question. Would you say, so you're an Episcopalian priest, you become Orthodox, a gradual transition, you see the continuity, you're thankful for that. Is there any major difference between how you relate to God or how God relates to you between your confessional experience there and then as you enter into Orthodoxy?
I don't know other than to say that there's just a depth and fullness and reality to it. It's not that I didn't experience God, but, and I look at the sacramental life and everything, the preparation for it, the seriousness about it. It's like I feel like here there are things that are worth dying for. And I didn't feel that where I was anymore. But I feel that here. This is it, or, what can I say? I'm just not looking for greener pastures anywhere.